We'll move on to proclamations and awards. We have just one proclamation tonight, and I'd like to ask the following individuals to join me up at the podium. Miss April Burleson and Miss Tracy Braden, from Public Information Officer with the Glendale Police Department. How are you ladies tonight? Okay, this proclamation is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's got a lot of whereases in it, and so we'll do the best we can to get through this. A lot of numbers. Whereas 29,073 orders of protection against domestic violence were issued in Arizona in 2014, and 2,022 of those orders were issued by the Glendale City Court. And whereas Arizona has a 5.77 per million homicide rate for victims of domestic violence, which is 31% higher than the national average of 3.96. And whereas domestic violence is attributed to over 18.5 million mental health visits and over 8 million lost paid workdays nationally each year. And whereas the Glendale Family Advocacy Center has become a safe haven, providing comprehensive services to domestic violence victims and their families, helping them to regain stability in their lives. And whereas domestic violence impacts everyone regardless of race, sex, economic background, their occupation, or their religious beliefs. And whereas each year October provides an opportunity for all of us to recommit ourselves to ending domestic violence in our homes, at our work, in our community, and within our country. Now therefore, I, Jerry P. Wires, Mayor of the City of Glendale, Arizona, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2015 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and call upon our citizens of Glendale to increase their understanding of domestic violence and be supportive of their family, friends, their neighbors and co-workers who may be a victim of domestic violence. Signed by my hand, Jerry Wires, Mayor of Glendale, Arizona. Ladies, I'll give this to you. And then, both you want to speak? Yeah, okay, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. Tracy Braden, spokesperson for the Glendale Police Department. In 1 year, 12.7 million people will be physically abused, raped, or stalked by their partners. That's 24 people every minute. Why does it matter? Because it's somebody you know. It's your family members. It's your neighbors. It's your coworkers. It's the person sitting next to you. It's time to change the way we think and the way we act in response to domestic violence victims. America saw a shift begin to happen this year when the conversation about domestic violence began to change. It began to widen, in large part due to social media, in large part due to a video that was all over the news and all over social media. That video showed NFL football player Ray Rice spit twice in his fiance's face and punch her in the face until he knocked her unconscious in that elevator. The response quickly became negative, not about the perpetrator, but the focus became on the victim. America and the media turned their focus to Janae Palmer, the victim, and they had little mercy on her when she chose to stay with Rice. The responses were responses frequently heard from victims of domestic violence. Why doesn't she just leave? Why I wouldn't allow this to happen to me. We live in a culture that questions and blames victims, and those negative reactions have devastating effects. The reality is that leaving is not easy. Every day in this country, every day, 4 women are murdered, and 75% of those women that are murdered while leaving or planning to leave their partners. The responses to Janae Palmer and passionate survivors of domestic violence. Men and women, survivors and supporters, courageously rose up, no longer remaining silent, and spoke out on social media saying no more. Raising awareness, starting a new conversation, and changing the response. Domestic violence survivor Bev Gooden went to Twitter to speak out using the hashtag #WhyIStayed. The hashtag went viral, followed by the hashtag #WhyILeft. Let me read you just a few of those statements that were put on social media by men and women. Why I stayed, because I was afraid, and I thought no one would believe that such a responsible man would do such horrible things. Why I stayed, because I thought my baby boys needed a dad. Why I left, I didn't want them to learn to hit a woman ever. Why I stayed, because after years of emotional, verbal, and physical abuse, you believe you are unworthy of happiness. Why I left, it was that or kill myself, and despite everything, I still wanted to live. Why I left, when I saw my face after emergency surgery to realign my jaw, after 6 screws, after 6 weeks on a liquid diet, I knew I deserved better. It was not just a few hundred responses on social media. Bev Gooden's hashtag was used over 60,000 times in just the first day. And it went viral, and it became one of the most popular hashtags for the year. It started a conversation. It helped inspire a new conversation. The media, the NFL, and the country took notice. And the Glendale Police Department also took part in that conversation to raise awareness and help change that response. The Glendale Police Department works diligently to provide victims with the compassion, support, and justice they deserve. And during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we have asked you to stand in solidarity with victims, with survivors, and with us to raise awareness about domestic violence. But we're going to ask you to do more than just stand. We're going to ask you to join the conversation and help shatter that silence. It's time. It's time to stop saying things like, why doesn't she just leave? And instead start saying, it's not your fault. You're not alone. There is help for you. It's time to start believing and stop blaming and questioning the victim. There is no excuse for violence. We all play a role, and we are all responsible in ending domestic violence. Your voice, your courage, your response can inspire change. It is time now, and it is time to say no more. Join us. I would now like to introduce a courageous and inspiring woman who no longer remains silent. She was involved in a relationship in which she was a victim of sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. April's case is a Glendale case, and she sought out help through the Glendale Family Advocacy Center, and her perpetrator is in jail due in large part to the great work of a Glendale police detective. 1 in 4 women will experience intimate partner violence. She is more than just a statistic. She is a face, she is a voice, and she is a survivor. April Burleson.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is April, and I was a domestic violence victim. I was in an abusive relationship with this man for about 3 years. I don't come from a family of abuse. In the beginning of the relationship, it started off good. He would buy me flowers, cook me dinner, and be very sweet and funny. Slowly into the relationship, he started to tell me what I couldn't wear, check my phone, tell me I couldn't hang out with certain people. Then further into it, it got darker. He started hitting me, holding me down, putting guns to my head, and running me off the road. Sorry. At one time outside during the day, he even dragged me across the whole yard and beat me in front of several neighbors. Not one person tried to stop it. Not one person called the cops. You may say or think, well, why doesn't she just leave when he's not around? I tried that, and the result was him stalking me at my work, harassing my friends, calling me excessively on my phone and at work, and telling me he was going to kill my parents. It was a very embarrassing and frightening situation. After years of mental, sexual, and physical abuse, it finally ended with him attempting to kill me by driving my car into a tree. It left me with a broken jaw and bruised body. It shouldn't have come to that point. And why I stayed is because the fear he instilled in me. And why I left is because I had someone believe in me. It is not easy to relive my story, but I do hope someone walks away with the message to get help. I would like the public to know to please help, step in, call the cops if you suspect abuse is happening. You can save someone's life. And not to blame or judge the victim. It is not easy to just leave. Also, to the victims going through abuse, know that you are worth more. Believe in yourself and that you deserve better. There are victims advocates that can help you through the process. I have a wonderful one, Mary Kay, and still to this day I call her a friend, a mentor, and my second mom. I would like to thank the Glendale Police Department for choosing me to tell my story, Detective Peach for working my case and locking him up, and especially Mary Kay Hoskovic for believing in me and getting me through this. I look forward to my future and to know that I'm a survivor. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. You okay? Hold on just a second.